What's up, everyone? Let me clean this camera a little bit. We have a 10S Max here with no power, and let's see. It looks like it was unopened actually, and doesn't look like there's any water damage or anything. So, first thing I always do is always use a known good battery. Batteries have been known to fail for some reason. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but something about, well, more so in the iPhone 10, but basically some circuit inside the battery breaks and it just stops working. So always use a known good battery, always use a known good charge port. I talked about the charge port problem in the previous video, but basically a lot of aftermarket charge ports for the 10S and 10S Max cause boot loop issues. One thing that we know is that the charge port has to be plugged in, all right, in order for it to not boot loop. So basically, a lot of times back in the day, you would just unplug the charge port, roll it out, right? But you can't really do that anymore with the 10 series, because if you unplug it, then it boot loops. Then you're really like, oh, it's not the charge port, and then you're really screwed. So, and another problem is that the aftermarket charge ports are also causing boot loop issues, and you figure you buy from Mobile Centrics that you should get a good part, but what I found the hard way is that these stupid charge ports, or even the premium ones, some of them are causing boot loop issues. So make sure that you buy a few of them, and make sure that you test to make sure that they are working on a known good 10S Max before you use them for testing. Like if you're like me and you try like 3 different premium Mobile Centrics ports and it still doesn't boot loop, or still boot loops, then you're thinking to yourself, oh, it can't be the charge port, especially if you disconnect it. So anyways, important to use some of the premium Mobile Centrics charge ports actually work, so just make sure you find one that works and return the ones that are no good. Same with the 10 and 10S. So that causes me a lot of grief. Yeah, it causes a lot of grief because these charge ports aren't the easiest to replace either. So you can test it, you can turn it on, and it works, and it charges fine, 2 amps, and then you put it all together, and the customer says, oh, it's boot loop, and it's just a nightmare. So work it all out. All right, so let's get this thing focused. Focus. Okay. So known good charge port, known good battery, known good ammeter. For this phone, this is weird actually, but for this phone, I plug it in, and on the ammeter, I'll show you what I'm getting on the ammeter. This is my ammeter now, and this is pretty much the only one I really use these days, just because I had like about, why is it not focusing, dang it? Come on, focus. There you go. Okay, so these things are great, man. If you're looking for one, we sell them on our website. And basically, it's 6 ammeters in one little box here. It's awesome. I have something charging already. The 1.6 is, you can ignore that one. But anyways, if you're looking for this one, you can do a search for 899. That's the model number, and it's a 6-port USB amp. I don't think they market it as an ammeter. You just market it as a charger. So number 5 is the one that we're looking at, where it's going from 0 to 0.2 to 0.1 back to 0. It just keeps going back and forth. Okay. So this is the 10S Max. The 1.6 is something else, okay, that I'm charging right now. Alright, so let's go back. Alright, so unplug, and let's inspect the logic board under the scope. See how it goes. Okay. Get this mother focused. So I always just inspect the board. What the hell happened there? Damn it. At some point there's got to be a better thing, right? Camera holder thingy. It always slips down. Anyways, so I always just inspect the logic board on the sides here, just to make sure that, so tight. Okay. So I always just look around here to see if there's any gaps or anything like that. See if the two logic boards have separated. This is pretty close together. And then you kind of just go around the whole way here, and you know, you can look at the bottom and the top, and if there's a gap, you can see solder, and then that's no good. But this is all pretty tight. Okay. So my next step is I always just go for this. So let's see. I don't know if you can see this, but basically the charge port goes on this one, and then this is the battery. This is the LCD connector. This is the digitizer. This is the digitizer connector. Okay, so on the LCD connector, this left pin right here is always VDD main. So I always just test that sucker. So go to ground to VDD main, and it's shorted. So VDD main is shorted, and I'll show you on ZXW tools. Alright, so here is ZXW tools. Let's see if I can get it to. Okay, so let's see. This would be the charge port connector right here, and then this is the LCD connector, and then if you click on this, then that would be VDD main. Alright, it's an easy way to check see if VDD main is shorted, and indeed this is shorted. Okay, so next step is to place this sucker in the IX5 and heat the board and separate it and check to see if there's any shorted capacitors underneath the shields. All right, so so this IX5 is pretty nice. I have like 3 of these things, one for each, one for like the 10 and then 10S, 10S Max, and then another one for the 11. I don't know if I really need all of them, but you know, they share the same adapter, so it's pretty cool. I mean, you can just, I don't know, they're cheap. They're not that expensive either. So this one, you just pop it in here. It's really hot now. Secure it. Get the yellow tabs to pop them up and hold them in place. And generally speaking, wait about 5 minutes, and then you're back in business. I mean, you can separate them. And one thing you definitely want to do is score this little piece right here, because then when you try to lift it, it'll get stuck, and then you'll be like, oh shit. And then some of the solder joints will get messed up. So the goal is to lift this top logic board here without having to disturb any of the existing solder joints, basically. So when you put it back, you can just pop it back in, you know. So let's see if we can get this thing to focus. Might be time to upgrade my camera. It's Harping camera. Might be the only one that hasn't upgraded from their original setup from like 3 years ago when I started on YouTube. Anyways, while we're waiting here, let's see, the coronavirus. That's kind of like the current event now, and I guess the elections in the U.S. If you're from the U.S., let's see. I won't really talk too much about the elections because there's really not a whole lot to talk about. I think it's Biden and Bernie right now, and I think Bloomberg just dropped out. So let's see, coronavirus. Well, stock markets have been pretty wild, volatile, and a lot of unknowns right now with the coronavirus. And we haven't had any cases in the DC area right here, but I imagine once we get one case, then it's going to be DEFCON 3 or whatever the DEFCON rating system is. And how's that going to affect everybody? I don't even really know. I mean, I think small business, like restaurants, are definitely going to hurt because people aren't going to go to the restaurants. Probably theaters, no chance. I imagine theaters are probably struggling already, so now they're really going to go to crap. Maybe like companies like Netflix would probably do pretty well, right? Since everybody's going to be staying home. Well, I don't know if that's going to actually be true or not, but I imagine people will think twice about going out in public, you know, until this thing kind of boils over, whenever that may be. And it feels like we're just kind of starting right now. So I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I'm not really doing anything special. I'm just kind of thinking about. I don't think it's really going to impact microsoldering at all, so I'm not too worried about that. I don't really have a storefront here, so anyway, so I always grab from the bottom right corner here, and then just try to be as gentle as possible. and then just pop it off. Then I just turn it off and just kind of put this aside, and then I will just pop it under a scope and inspect. And it's usually on this side, actually. From what I found, it's usually on this side. Sometimes it's on the other side, but usually it's on this side. So I'm gonna look under the scope, see what I see. Okay, first thing I always do is just a visual inspection, just to see if I see. So in my experience, I've had a few caps over here that's kind of blown. Like, I think I had one around here somewhere, one of these, and then I think I had one of these blow. And then there's been a bunch over on this side, I think. I'm not even positive, and then maybe like one over here or something like that. So I don't really see anything right now that's evident. Anyways, let's take a look at ZXW tools here and see if we can find out where the VDD mains are, and then we can kind of isolate. So I guess the first thing to do is we should probably just isolate whether it's the top board or the bottom board first. So in order to do that, we'll just measure. We'll just measure on this side actually. So we'll just kind of orient it this way, and then just measure one of these two caps on this side here. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so basically I'm just going to diode mode this mother right here and see if we can get something. Try not to touch this black crap. Shit. So, alright, that's definitely shorted, and then I guess we can do the bottom side too, just to roll that out. Let's see. So I think it's this one right here. So this is VDD main right here, so I'll just kind of do this. Yeah, this is 0.9, so I think that's fine. So anyways, the short is on this side. Not, it's not really any different than anything else at this point. But maybe we can spot the problem, and then we can just pop it off instead of using freeze spray. Okay, so let's just go back to the XW tool so we can spot it. Okay, so let's focus on this right here, and we'll start at the top here. All right. So those two caps, nope. So I'm basically just going through it. Like that doesn't look good right there. Like this one right here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but like I don't know if you can see this or not, but this right here doesn't look doesn't look too healthy, but see how it's got like little black spots on it? See this one right here? And then look at this one. This one's got like little black spots on it. I don't know if you can tell or not, but alright, so you know what? Should I just pop it off real quick? Yeah, see, it's already cracking. See it? So I'm pretty sure this one's not good. So let's just pop this off, and maybe we got lucky. Who knows? Alright, let's check. Let's diode mode it again. And maybe I'm gonna assume that this is ground. So I know the suspense is killing you. So what do you think? What do you think? You think this is it, or you don't think that's it? Well, it is it. This is shorted right here. So this is shorted, and then this is reading. This has a normal reading now. So I've had one up here before, so I don't know exactly why it blows up here, but anyways, so no freeze spray needed. That's always lovely, you know. And I don't even, I mean, you can barely spot it, but you can see just a little bit of discoloration. You probably can't see it very well from the camera here, but I can see it through the scope much better. And it's just, and then when I kind of picked at it, you can see it was kind of cracking a little bit, you know. So that's how you spot it. So just use your eyes. A lot of times you'll spot these things a lot faster than anything else that you use, including a thermal camera or something like that. All right, so hopefully I won't have to do much with this, but I'm gonna, let's see. So basically I'm gonna like just kind of go through this right here. Okay, so basically I turn the heat back on this thing, on the iX5, and I'm gonna kind of go through. I'm just gonna go through here and just make sure that there's no corroded pads or anything like that. It doesn't look like there's two. Yeah, I don't see any corroded pads actually. Oh, actually there's a few down here. So I'm just gonna touch those up with low melt solder paste. Like that looks like a little low. That's not too bad, but everything else looks pretty good. And yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna touch these few up right there with some low melt solder. Okay. So low melt solder I'm using is, it's called let's see. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's like, I think this is the Gelon Sunshine solder paste. You can use whatever the hell you want. It's not a big deal. One thing that I did notice though is that the Amtech solder paste is so much cleaner than this garbage that we get from China. It's like so much cleaner. So if I can get my hands on, but they're a lot more expensive, way more expensive. Hey Google, turn smoke on. Okay, so this is just low melt right here, and I'm just gonna touch this. Anything that's corroded, you just want to touch up a little bit. All right. And I think that's it, really. And then I guess you can do the other side too. So we can just kind of put this over here and just make sure there's nothing corroded on this side too. Definitely make sure that this little piece of tape, which always kind of trolls me a little bit, doesn't mess up everything. I need to remember to take this off. Cut this mother. You know what? What am I doing? Let's just take it off, man. No, I'll just do that. Screw it. Okay, so basically just go through all this and make sure there's no corrosion. Corrosion is just the dull gray. And make sure there's nothing blocking basically these pads right here. Okay, so I mean this is nothing right here, but it looks like this is one of those separate spacers. And what is a spacer, you ask? Well, check out our course, and we have a whole thing dedicated to this. Whole section dedicated to this, alright? So I'm just going to put a little bit of this here. Okay, I'm just going to put that back. Alright, so everything looks good here. Okay, so we are ready for reassembly. And in order to do that, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to it. I just kind of go around with my VS213 flux on a heated board here. I just put an ample amount of flux all around the interposer here. Ample amounts, man. Like just, yeah. See all the smoke coming up? Just flood it. Flood it. Yeah. Okay, so basically, yep. So that's it. And then once it gets hot enough, then basically you just clamp it back. You just put it back. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to it, man. So basically, I mean, I think STS Jason puts a screw in there, which probably is a better idea, but I'm a little lazy, so. And then, like, I'm lazy, right? And then I'm gonna, like, burn my damn finger. Always fucking happens. So you just want to be, like, pretty careful about it. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna, like, adjust it. There you go. So basically, you just put it back on, and then you just kind of look under the scope and just kind of make sure it's aligned fairly well. So it looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks like it's aligned fairly well right now. Okay, so basically, what I like to do is I just take one of these little tools right here, and I just kind of push down on it. So basically, being that there are spacers in between on the solder joints, you can basically just press down as hard as you want because the solder is not going to bridge. So basically, I just go like this, and I just push down pretty hard on each corner, basically, right? And you definitely want to pay more attention to this side because this is the side that kind of bows up more often than not. So take off the yellow things. I always grab it by the sim tray area here. And then as soon as you put it down, you have probably about 15 to 20 seconds before the solder solidifies. So basically, you really just want to hold it here and paying more attention, more pressure on this side because this is the side that bows up, and then just kind of hold it there for about 15-20 seconds until the solder solidifies. And it's really hot still, so just be careful. So I just put quite a bit of pressure actually on it. And then, I mean, so at this point, it's probably been about 20 seconds, and then you just kind of go around it and just make sure everything's still good. So next thing I do is I just look under scope and just kind of verify that everything is on right. So I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Okay, so basically, you want to go through the logic board, just make sure the top, there's no huge gap here. Sometimes you'll see it on this side, and just go on both sides. See, everything is pretty good. I'm just going to do some IPA here, get some of the flux off. Yeah, everything looks really good. So everything looks really good. Okay, so next step is to check VCC main again, VDD main. Make sure there's no more short. And then if there's no short, then we are good to go. So this is 0.27, and that's fine. It's usually 0.3, something 4 or something like that. But the board's hot, so when the board is hot, it'll read a little bit lower rating. All right, so this should work at this point. We're gonna stick it back into his housing, into the original housing, and see if we can get this thing to boot. All right. All right, this thing is so damn messy. Look at my awesome desk, man. So dirty. Okay. All right. I should probably just test it in my setup real quick to see if it boots. Yeah, let's do that. Even though I'm pretty confident that it'll go. So basically, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna connect a string to it. I'm just gonna connect it to the ammeter and see if it gives me +1 amp draw. If it does, then I'll stick it back in the housing. All right. So I'm not gonna show you what it looks like. So 0.1, 0.2, 1.3 amps. Okay, so it looks like it's charging now. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and then put it back in the housing. That way we can see what's going on. I'm pretty sure it's good, but let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm gonna get ready to close this to, I'm gonna put all these flex cables back, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good. I mean, if I'm just testing, then I'll just connect a few, but This saves me a little time. Well, I'm gonna go full boat here and just at least get this one back on so I don't have to redo it later. Okay. Let's see. I'm putting a lot of faith on this repair here. Otherwise I'll have to redo it. Take all the flexes off and redo it if something doesn't work. Okay. But seeing that no one's worked on this phone before, like I feel pretty confident that it's gonna be fine. As soon as I say that, though, it's gonna be shit. Okay. All right. So let's see. 0.2 Apple logo. Is it Friday yet? No, it's not. It's Wednesday. Okay. Now it's at 0.6 amps, 0.7 amps. I'm gonna eat my words here. Watch. 1 amp. 1.4. That's good. Give me the chime. Alright, sorry. Well, maybe I shouldn't post pictures of other people on here. Passcode, TouchWorks. There you go. We'll just do this. So there you go, guys. Anyways, I'm gonna log on here and test everything, and everything should be good. So, oops. Anyways, I'll just quit that. Alright, so I think that's the end of this repair. I don't really have much else to talk about. Let's see, we're just starting to see a lot more of these come in. Let's see, what else? It's been same old, same old. Definitely a lot less touch ICs. Definitely a lot less audio ICs as well, which was the bread and butter of last year, I would say, and the year before that probably. So this year, let's see, a lot of like 8s are coming in now. I think I had 1 or 2 11s come in. Well, 1 11, and then I just got an 11 Pro come in. And then where do we go from here? I don't know. I'm not really sure where we go from here, man. Yeah, I'm not really sure where we go. I think it sounds like Lewis is doing pretty well. I don't know if anybody's watching his YouTube his storefront thing or not, but that looks like a pretty sweet, huge new storefront that he has there. Which I don't know exactly how much square feet it is, but and then I think he said he's up to like 9 or 10 employees or something like that. That's pretty strong. Jessa's got quite a bit of employees as well. So, anyways, I'll save that for another video. Thanks for watching, guys. I just wanted to say thank you for watching our videos on YouTube. You know, when I started microsoldering about 3 or 4 years ago, probably about 3 years ago, I started because I ended up breaking someone's phone during a repair. Yeah, this was back in the days of the iPhone 5C, and as I was disconnecting the battery, I accidentally pried off one of the little components next to the battery connector. So my options were to try to fix it or to buy the customer a new phone, and that's kind of what started this journey. Well, fast forward 3 years later, we have a website now, Microsoldering.com, and we also have an online training course. It's $99.99 if you buy it through our website, and we go over just about everything that you need to know to get started on your microsoldering journey. It's kind of sectioned out into about 4 parts, and the first part we just kind of go over all the basics, the tools, how to use diode mode, and what kind of tools and equipment to buy and stuff like that. The second part we talk a little bit about ZXW tools, and in the third part we go over 4 of the most common repairs. Let's update this. It should be 4 common most. So it's basically no touch, no backlight, no power, and we just added a section for audio IC on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. And then the last part is data recovery, no boot, and just kind of a very basic discussion about data recovery. So if you want to buy it, just go to microsoldering.com, click on Store, Shop, and then you'll come to this page right here. Just click on Buy at Udemy, and that'll take you to Udemy where our course is hosted. And you can even preview some videos of the course and see if you like it or not. And right now we're at 4.5 hours, and we're adding to it as much as we can. So just make sure you go through our website, otherwise the cost is a little bit higher. Alright, thanks for watching.